I'm going to change this whole thing for her uterus. So coming here, and I'm just allowing the stomach to come up, and then come back down. Now, just slightly, just to show you here, I'm behind the tush.
Oops, don't pull.
That's what I was talking about yesterday. The band will probably still work for you. I just don't want that on the kids. So see how that's different from hip to hip on how your belly wants to come up here versus here. Feel the difference? But see here, the knee is weaker. Do you see that? See how the knee wants to bend? And here, you're tight for the glute. So I'm going to just go for the glute. But we again do very little to change or work on how we are balanced through that system, because that's a change in body mass. And not only that, but now you don't want to do this with just anybody, because you don't want to stimulate the mother.
And what do you mean by stimulate?
By dilations, stimulate.
So you'll cause the uterus. It's interesting how you're working like right on the muscle and not in her.
What I'm not working on the muscle, it's what I did like on your tush. I'm holding the belly so it's changing its trajectory, so I can work around on the tush. There she goes, so her lower back can release.
So you're just supporting.
So she's used to, yeah, I'm just supporting.
Okay.
So she's used to this belly when it starts growing and it attaches, to the system. Most people think of it as growing out, but it's growing, in all directions. So I want to, but I'll be lightly rotating the uterus, just slightly right there as I'm moving her SI joint. Because again, she could be worried about falling. She doesn't want to hurt the baby. You don't know what starts coming into people's brains, what is it, back in the, not even 60 years ago, if someone was knocked up, they stayed home for 9 months. They just, nowadays they do scuba diving and run marathons and whatever. Now, what I don't like is with people that have never probably exercised before and said, I'm going to go do, don't. I remember one time I went to vacuum, I pushed it like 2 feet, I'm like, oh, I'm done. I was so tired. I don't know when. It's like that 15-week part. But again, I was older when I had my kids. However, I will say by having kids older, I think it created a youth in me. I think I act much more like I'm in my 20s than I am in my...
I think you inherited that.
So now can you feel the difference of just how the left side is to the right? Now again, because she's pregnant, I'm going to quickly come in here because I don't want to leave her unbalanced.
Did you knock it over again, Ariana? How's that? Here.
But just like I talked about the nasal cavities, I'm changing her rotation to include the stomach instead of it just being from the hips. But see, I'm going around, so it's like a lift. Okie doke. Walk around and see how that feels.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah? But now feel reaching up. Before, you probably felt like part of you was getting weighed down
Weighed down,
because
yeah.
of, you know,
You feel a lot more
Right.
pressure.
yeah.
I feel like if you had actually pushed yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Feels a lot
yeah.
better.
So, with the pregnancy, right, again, you have to look at the counterbalance. So if I was like this, right, and that's where you start seeing some people like this, they lean back because they can't handle the counter, or they'll be like this or whatever. So all I did was like a light lift, so she can actually feel the movement through the tush here in this situation. So it allows it to bring that counter back through the uterus versus, you know, around it. Or you start seeing people like this, they walk like the abominable snowman. You know what I mean? Because they don't know how to integrate the uterus. So I just did a light rotation.
That was really cool.
So she can feel just that light shift and that light shift over of her belly to integrate it. And that's really important, I think, afterwards. I think that's where a lot of people too have a postpartum issue because they don't know what to do with
I was
this.
thinking about that. How,
You know, but I'm saying that when you nurse and stuff, you get that
Yeah.
counter, whereas if you don't nurse, you'll get that. And then it's like, you know, so again, I think they think the bonding is a lot to do with how the baby presents to you, but I want to consider if the uterus doesn't reattach quickly, that it causes a disconnect of self, adding to postpartum issues.
like